Enough monkeying around. It's time for our review of After Us.
After Us is a deck building game set in a dystopian future where apes have taken over, and I really enjoyed playing as an ape overlord.
There's a lot of mechanics in this game that I really loved, and I kind of like how they all came together. We'll tell you all about it after this quick how to play.
After Us is played over several rounds, with each round having 3 phases.
Phase 1 is assembling the tribe phase, where players will simultaneously draw 4 cards and place them in any order to receive the benefits.
Phase 2 is attracting new apes, where players will play one of 4 discs that will give them a bonus and allow them to draft a new ape into their tribe if they can afford it.
Phase 3 is the resting phase, where players will discard their current cards and reset to start a new round.
Once any player reaches 80 points, that will signal the end of the game, and at the end of that phase, the player with the most points wins.
Alright, so we picked up a copy of this at Gen Con. It was the one that Lee was most excited about getting. So what did you think now that we've dug into it?
So I still really liked it. I was really excited because it's Pandasaurus. I mean, in the past, we've loved most of their games, and even some of their small box games were like, oh, okay, good job, Pandasaurus. But with this, the artwork, I mean, the idea of like kind of the Planet of the Apes is the vibe that I got from reading about the description and everything. So I had a lot of fun, and it's not too complicated. I think anyone of any level can play this. So really, really thought it was a good pickup.
So the basic mechanic of this game is deck building. Everyone starts off with their own starting deck of tamarins that are gonna be their main monkeys that they're gonna play at the very beginning. And you're gonna get 4 of them and you're gonna put them together. And then as you're going, you're gonna build your chain and you're gonna be able to collect other monkeys like orangutans and gorillas and chimpanzees that will give you other abilities. But basically you're gonna have your deck, you're gonna keep adding to your deck. Sometimes you're gonna subtract from your deck to get rid of the starting cards so you can keep using the better cards. And you're gonna chain 4 cards at a time every round. How you chain those 4 cards will give you resources, which will then let you add more apes to your tribe, which will then give you better bonuses to move on into the next round. And for the most part, because it's a race to 80, because 80 starts the end game, and if only one player gets to 80, that player wins. If multiple players get to 80, it's whoever had the most points beyond 80. And it takes probably about, I want to say, less than 10 rounds, I think, every game that we played. Sometimes it was real quick, depending on how you chained them. If you got real lucky with your draws and you were able to go boom, 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 boom and get lots of points really quickly. I like all of that going into it. I have to say it's probably a little too simple, a little too much of the same thing over and over again. And if it did last even a little bit longer, I might have gotten a little bored with it. But in those first few rounds, when you're building and you're starting to feel the momentum and you're starting to move along, I really enjoyed everything that was going on with this game.
I remember when we were walking around Gen Con and we walked up to the booth because we wanted to see what the pitch was, right? Like the elevator pitch. And they were talking about like, oh, you got to complete the frames. And in that moment, I wasn't sure what he was talking about. I was like, complete the frames? Like, what's going on here? However, it is pretty cool. I mean, I think there's a point when you have 4 cards. Luckily, it's only 4, because if you had more, you might be like, is this better? Is this better?
Explain what complete the frames is.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So at complete the frames, as you're laying these little guys down, like sometimes at the edge of a card, there's half of a frame, and then there's the other half. And you got to make sure they align when you're doing you have to line the cards up top and bottom. So if these align and none of them do, I don't get anything. However, if you're able to close a certain frame like that there, then you would get whatever those are or be able to take an action. I really like that. It's almost like multi-level Furnace. With Furnace, you're lining them all up. But this one, it's like, okay, you do the top one, then you do the middle one, then you do the bottom one. Luckily, like I said, you draw 4 at a time every round. So if you had more, you'd probably be analysis paralysis maybe. But I don't think it's that big of a deal if you mess up one time, because there's always another round. We're all moving pretty quick because it's all simultaneous action. And it was like, oh, hey, move me up 2 points, or you can move yourself up, collect your resources you need. So plays pretty quickly, and then you're just trying the different ways of collecting the 4 main types of apes or monkeys here to really make your team that engine to get all the points.
So I really like the mechanic on the cards where you're closing the frames and you're trying to connect them. It's just like the mechanic in Wayfarers of the South Tigris, where you have the cards on the water and you place them next to each other, which it may be from other games too. We just haven't played it. I don't know if it's a brand new mechanic that Shem created, or if he got it from somewhere and then they borrowed it or whatever. Anyways, I really like the mechanic where you have the cards and you have something on one card and something on the other. And when you put them together, then you get something. In Wayfarers, you just get a bonus when you do it. And this one, it's the whole purpose of the game is matching these up to try to get the best thing. I like the thought process that goes into that. I just wish that that wasn't all that the game was. Yes, there's 2 other phases after you've placed these and ordered them, and you got to collect the cards. However, all the cards are face down, and you're going to get a level 1 or a level 2. So when you have enough resources to get those apes, you're going to draw a card, and you don't necessarily know that that card will be beneficial. Most of the cards are beneficial. Most of the level 2s have better abilities than the level 1s. You're pretty much going to get good cards as you're going. However, there are some cards that probably have better synergistic qualities for the chaining that you're trying to do, the deck that you're trying to build. And I just feel like the luck of the draw aspect of the deck builder kind of made it like, well, yeah, but I could just be randomly getting cards and it wouldn't make any difference. I think it would be more interesting, I don't know, not fewer cards, but I don't know, something where you could see the options. And if you had a certain number of resources, maybe you got to pick first before the other one. And you could really think about how you're building your deck and not just randomly, oh, I'm going to add this card to it and let's hope it works out. And then it just happens to work out. And all the thought process is just on how you place these. I wish there was a little more to it because I like this mechanic a lot.
So in the beginning, when you're playing with your base monkeys, it's kind of slow. It's like, hey, give me a point, move me up 1, and then whatnot. However, at some point, you'll get that lucky draw or recruit that 1 ape where once you draw your 4 cards, you're like, oh, this round I got 10 points. Okay. And then like maybe next round you only get 2 or something like that. However, you know, it does creep up on you when the other players are like, hey, can you give me 15? And you're like, 15? I'm like, oh my God, like he just needs maybe 3 more of those and he's going to win. All right, hold on. Let me figure out what I need to do here. Mandrills. I think the thing I like the most is even though the apes kind of specialize in their own little thing that they might add to your tribe, if you just went full on just grabbing one of them, I think you'd still do well with getting points. So it's not too heavy that you have to make sure you get one of each or more of one than the other because you can still get points.
I really like the mechanics where you have to close the frames and you have to figure out the order of how you place them. I think that that's a really cool mechanic. I think that could be used a lot better than how it has been so far. I just want to find the game that does it and I just, that's going to be awesome. So I really like that mechanic a lot. What did you not like about this game?
I would say the thing I didn't like is just in the very beginning, the first 3 rounds, it just seems kind of slow. We're kind of rinsing and repeating like, okay, I used my first 4 beginner monkeys. Okay, now here's my next 4 beginner monkeys. The points seem to go slow or the deck building or engine building seems to go a little slow, but then it does pick up towards the end and then you're just racking up points. But I think that first just slow, like, okay, you know, you're just grinding.
One of the things I didn't like about this is as with every deck building game, there's always that issue of at some point your deck gets so big you're not getting the cards you want, so how do you eliminate them? Which I like that they have the gorilla in there and a nice mechanic in the game as you're moving up the track that you can then spend it to get rid of your cards. I feel like you didn't get enough of these. Yeah, you had to get the gorilla cards, but I feel like they could have given you more opportunities to be able to get rid of cards quicker. And that way you could cycle through a little bit faster. Like Lee was saying at the beginning of the game, it's a little slow. So if you can get rid of those beginning cards as you get the new ones and kind of build it faster, I think that would be better.
Overall, I had a lot of fun playing. The artwork's great, the mechanics with closing the frames, I really enjoyed that. And Pandasaurus, I mean, we haven't played a lot of them recently. However, this one, I'm really glad that I picked it up and pre-ordered it and everything. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Overall, I liked a lot about this game. I like the theme. I wish they could have went a little bit more into that theme. I like that Planet of the Apes theme. However, it just has those standard issues with deck building and luck of the draw and those kind of things that I just feel like after a while, it's like, But I still really like it. I still had lots of fun with it. I just feel like it could be better. So overall, I'm going to give it a 7. And that was our review of After Us.
What'd you think? Does it sound like you're going to go bananas for this game? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video, subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
I'm Kenny. I go party like a board gamer.